Okay, what we have here is a combination of an AC motor. It's a third of a horsepower motor. And this device here is called a variable frequency drive controller. It's very popular nowadays in industry because it's very efficient in controlling speeds for a motor. And it's all connected through this blue Ethernet cable to a programmable logic controller. So you can write code to speed it up, slow it down, measure the current, measure the voltage, measure the phase, a whole bunch of things related to how the motor is running. And so right now I have it connected to the PLC and I'm running something called an HMI. HMI stands for Human Machine Interface. And it's basically an LCD touch screen. And if you're in a plant and you want to control something, instead of having a laptop or using switches, everything can be programmed onto the screen. And if you make changes, you can just reprogram the screen. So the first thing I want to show you is just that we can get it started. Okay, you start it up and see this green light came on. This tells you that the motor is accelerating, so that's feedback from the controller. And when it does get to speed, it'll say at reference. Okay, so it's got to the speed that I've programmed it for, so that at reference light comes on. And I can change the speed by moving this slider. Okay, you can see that the screen tells you that it's decelerating. Eventually it does get to the reference, so it hits the reference, running at that speed, and I can go as slow as I want. You can almost see the shaft just turning, one rotation per second almost. Very, very slow. And I can get it to speed all the way up to the top again. And you can see the indicators here are telling me that it's accelerating. It's not at its maximum speed yet, but it will hit it. And the software is measuring the frequency and the RPM. And I can also get it to change directions. And I can do this with a program, but I'm doing it manually here. So right now it's running in reverse. I'm going to hit forward. Now generally that wouldn't be a good thing to go from reverse to forward immediately, but this is a controller in itself and it's very smart. So when I hit forward, it'll decelerate the motor automatically, slows it down all the way eventually. And then when it gets down to 0 RPM, it's smart enough to get it going in the opposite direction. You can see it's forward now, it's accelerating, but it's not at the desired speed. It will be in just a second. Okay, so now I can hit stop, and that stops the motor, and it's decelerating. It will eventually get to 0. Now these are programs that students can write, or we can give you programs that are already programmed into the controller. And if I want to see the other programs, I can go to Shutdown, and it's shutting down the system. And you'll see where I got this program from. It's actually a list, just like on a computer. And there are many different programs, some for the Festo station, some for VFDs. So I went to Load Application, and there's a list of all the applications. This one is for the VFD. Click on Load, say yes to that message. And you'll notice this box is highlighted in blue right now. When the other one is, the one just above, then you'll be able to run the application. That takes 3 or 4 seconds from now. So it's ready to run the application. So click on Run, and we should be back to where we started.